Hey everybody, it's Mage Captain Gilshanks, and welcome to my brand new project. This is Let's Play Final Fantasy X, which you can already see on screen, and it was made by Squaresoft in the glory days of Squaresoft before they merged with Enix and just started going downhill. This is my personal favorite game of all time, and we're going to start things off by skipping this introductory cutscene, because we're already going to see it as soon as we start. I said skipping the introductory cutscene, because we're already going to see it as soon as we start the game. So, all things considered, this is take number 17, I think, because I was actually counting them. Let's get things started. So when you start a new game, we're literally going to see that same cutscene that I just skipped over, so don't worry, it's all fine and good. Uncle Gilshanks knows the way. Okay, enough of your obnoxiousness. So as soon as we start things off here, we have this sort of barren wasteland, I don't know, to sort of greet us, I guess you can say. And we have a whole collection of weapons over there. That's pretty interesting. I wonder if we're going to obtain such weapons. It looks like we have the entire party of cast members here. Wow, we're not even introduced to anybody. We already see a campfire with people sitting around it, everyone looking very down and dreary and depressed, and this makes me intrigued. This makes me want to know what's going on with these people. Why are they feeling so down? Why are they in this strange environment? And this girl looks like she's seen better days. The other guy just sort of walked off. And, actually, he didn't fully walk off yet, as you're about to say. Yeah, he's gonna walk off. But in any case, I know, I've seen this cutscene way too many times. It's ridiculous. But in any case, you know, I think that's sort of, a defining feature. I hope this friggin' microphone's loud enough. I'm actually gonna move a little closer. Hang on one sec. And this is sort of like a defining feature that, you know, helps to sort of hook the player in. At least it did that for me anyway. Because when I first started this off and I saw all this and I had no freaking clue what was going on, it really made me intrigued to know what is going on. And, you know, how can I change things? How can I help these people? How can we progress forward and make this world a happier place? Of course, these are a lot of assumptions that I was already making considering I didn't know a damn thing about this game yet. So it looks like we have our main character here. At least I'm assuming it's the main character. He kind of looks like Leonardo DiCaprio with Meg Ryan's haircut. That's always a winning combination, I guess, in the world of Final Fantasy. And pretty soon he's going to have something to say, so I'm going to shut up for that. Which brings me to my next point, ironically. For important story cutscenes, I am going to shut up for those. I am going to talk over the less important fluff cutscenes, though. Now, unfortunately, there's not going to be a lot of dialogue to read over, because most of these cutscenes are... Actually, all of these cutscenes are voiced. So hang on one sec.
Listen to my story. This may be our last chance.
Wow. I want to know, dude, what's that chance? What's the problem? See, I think that's one of the cool things about this game is that it shows you a little bit of foreshadowing, because obviously we haven't established the party yet, and we're not going to. And actually, this is a cutscene that will show up in the game pretty much right towards the end. So as soon as you forgot that it even existed, it's going to come back for a third time. So, having taken care of that, we're now going to be introduced to the real beginning of the game, because that was a little bit of foreshadowing, as I just mentioned. And, we're going to figure out what's going on here in this strange world. Well, it looks like we're not even in that strange world anymore, because it looks like we're in some advanced city, some metropolis of sorts. We have, like, holographic technology, we have people with strange clothing. I guess somehow that has something to do with advanced technology, but it's all fine and good. We need to figure out what's going on here. So, as soon as we actually have a chance to control ourselves, we're going to go over the controls real quick, and I'm going to show you some awesome stuff, and then we're going to get this show on the road. Because this is going to be a long Let's Play, guys. I don't know if you ever played a Final Fantasy, but they're long. They're very long games just by nature, and they are RPGs. And my goal is to break the mold by actually doing an RPG Let's Play that's not boring as fuck. Oh, I was trying not to curse. I'm gonna have to censor that with the cow noise again. Okay, so now we have control of our main character. You want to run around with the left analog stick on the PlayStation 2 controller. This is a PS2 game, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Now, what's kind of funny is that you can walk by holding down circle and walking forward. But what really makes that funny is the fact that if you just repeatedly press it and walk, you can get to do like kind of like this quap sort of thing. I always found that pretty amusing. I've sometimes gone through the entire game just doing this, just because of like how ridiculous it looks, especially during like a really serious cutscene or whatever when you actually still have access to the character. And something else I want to take care of is that I'm dedicating this Let's Play to all my friends in the EC4. You guys are awesome. I love recording with you guys. And especially considering two of you have yet to ever play this game. You know who you are. So hopefully this might enlighten you a little bit and show you why it's such a good game. And if I can accomplish that, that'd be pretty sweet, I gotta say. And enough of that stuff. I really don't want to bore you any further. So let's go and let's talk to these people now. Because it looks like all these people are here to see us.
Can I have your autograph?
Of course.
These girls are just like, sign my balls! Oh, God. Sorry for the awkward imagery. Now, of course, this transitions into the actual naming screen. This is the only character that we actually can name. I am going to name him Tidus. And the reason for that is because this is a character whose name, or rather the pronunciation of his name, is so often debated by people. I've always called him Tidus. A lot of people call him Tidus. A lot of people will argue that it's a fact that his name's supposed to be pronounced Tidus, even though I've actually looked on the Wikipedia page and the Japanese pronounce it as Tidus, which would basically be Tidus in English. But nevertheless, just to sort of mock out that whole argument, I'm just going to name him Tidus, because he's going to live up to that namesake anyway.
Oh, if I score a goal...
As you can see, we're dealing with a little bit of a flirt here. But of course, I would kind of be the same way too if I was a star athlete and these bitches were coming to see me. So, what can I say? So in any case, it looks like we're dealing with an athlete here, as I just mentioned. And the only question is, what kind of game is this? Because I don't even recognize that type of ball. Perhaps it's some kind of a rugby sort of a thing. Perhaps there's a special twist to it. Perhaps I should just shut up and stop making really forced foreshadowing jokes.
Can you sign this?
And once again, we're going to be signing the balls here. I still don't know what sport this is from yet. I'm trying to go about this Let's Play from the perspective of someone who's actually never played this game. So I'm going to be saying a lot of things like, I wonder what's going on here, or oh, I wonder what this could mean, you know, stuff like that. And of course, we have one more cutscene before we can actually get things started. We've taken about 3 steps so far, and of course, there's time for another cutscene.
2, 3.
This scene I always found kind of weird. Like, as if they rehearsed that. I don't know.
Hey, I got a game to play.
Now, something is actually going to happen that's pretty important, all things considered, for the overall story. And, well, first of all, there's actually this. Okay, 2 things. I kind of forgot about this. Who is that kid in the purple hood? I wonder if there's any kind of significance there. But in any case, you know, of course, I'm saying that this is important. I'm still talking over it. Now, look at what these kids are doing. This strange pose. This is actually going to be important later on in the game. And it's not going to make itself evident probably until the end of the game. So, in all honesty, I don't think anyone's going to remember this anyway. But now we're seeing sort of like a different view of the city. It's a gorgeous metropolis. There's lights on everywhere. There's a friggin' waterfall coming down. There was some guy on a billboard with a headband. I wonder if he's some kind of an important figure. I don't know. Now, this upcoming, I don't even want to call it a cutscene, but there's going to be a little bit of dialogue coming up that it really isn't all that important, but it is kind of important, so I am going to shut up and then just sort of keep moving forward. I would say that, oh guys, you know, relax, the beginning of the game is a little cutscene heavy and so on and so forth, but to be completely honest with you, the entire game is cutscene heavy. It is an RPG.
Away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, Jacked, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I says to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jack all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa. Didn't mean to reminisce, folks. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jack Memorial Cup tournament is today.
Okay, so now that we've gotten through at least that important part, I think that sort of radio show goes on, but you know, the only thing I really wanted them to mention was the character Jacked, because he is going to be a significant character, so I like the idea of planting the seeds, so to speak, of this important character and having him referenced as much as possible, even though that whole thing was that whole dialogue was optional. You could have just run right past it and skipped, you know, the parts that I was sort of staying around there for. So I haven't taken care of that. Looks like we're finally getting ready for the big game. And you know what? I would say what I like to do before a big game, but I have never played a friggin' sport, ever. Other than in gym class, and I used to try to get out of that. Like, I was the kind of guy that, during gym class, I would just sort of, like, not involve myself much. I would just sort of ask if I could, like, walk around the track or, like, lift weights or whatever. And usually, and by that, I mean, like, go into a corner and just lift dumbbells for about 20 minutes. Not to really do anything crazy. But enough of that crap. I apologize for getting so distracted just there. But in any case, we are going to start things off now. We're finally going to see what kind of a game this is, because that is an electrified stadium. I'm just saying, guys, what crazy sport are we going to be playing right now? I don't even know. This is just bizarre. Now, another thing I want to mention is that I know this game does have an HD version coming out, but to be completely honest with you, I don't really think it looks all that much better. Like, considering that it was remastered, I don't think it really looks that great, all things considered. Like, I thought the Jak and Daxter HD remake looked fantastic by comparison, but nevertheless, it's pretty cool. And what the hell is this guy doing? This is a tsunami! That's a freaking tsunami. The guy's just standing on the ledge there holding some booze, and a freaking tsunami is coming after him, which looks gorgeous, by the way. As dated as this game might be, the graphics, I think, still look gorgeous during the CGI cutscenes. Granted, there are going to be other spots that's not going to look so great, and there are some aging issues, I guess you could say, with this game, but we'll address that when the time comes. Damn! Okay, so it looks like this is some kind of underwater rugby kind of a thing. Interesting. I wonder if we're actually going to find out the name of this sport, and I wonder if it's going to hold any significance in the next part of the game. Interesting. Well, actually, I should say 2 parts from now, not necessarily the next part. So, I love how, like, the friggin' tsunami is coming to attack, and this guy's just sort of walking ever so casually. He's just like, yeah, whatever. And meanwhile, no one else even knows what's going on because the friggin' game is like... Hey, you know what? It's like typical America for you. It's like when the game is on, nothing else matters. Okay, so come on. We're going to make the big score now because it looks like the other team, the Douglas from C South, just made a score. Uh-oh, but the giant tsunami's coming. And just letting you guys know that the giant tsunami is firing projectiles at us and destroying buildings. That is friggin' crazy. When I first saw this, I was like, what the hell am I getting myself into? This game is friggin' nuts. And for those of you who, you know, I should say in general, for people who like to complain that RPGs have kind of a slow start, I like to answer with this game. I wouldn't consider this to be a slow start at all. I think this is pretty action-packed considering that we're not even 12 minutes into the game yet. And as a matter of fact, you could have gotten here sooner, but I spent a lot of time just sort of bumbling around and waiting for cutscenes to end. So having taken care of all of that, let's get the hell out of the city because it's freaking it's falling apart, man. It's like the freaking apocalypse here. A giant tsunami came, and rather than just washing everything away, which already would have been destructive enough, it started shooting projectiles at us. I don't like that. So you know what? We're gonna get up here. You know what? We're gonna stop complaining about our head hurting. God, you only fell like several stories. What's your problem? Stop complaining. And that freaking guy with the booze is over here. Let's see if he has anything interesting to say.
Auron!
Oh, looks like we know him.
What are you doing here?
I was waiting for you.
What are you talking about?
Huh, interesting. I guess we've already have some kind of a friendship established with the booze drinking guy that just doesn't seem to care about the giant tsunami that fires projectiles. Okay. So as we're going along here, of course we have to be interrupted by another cutscene because, you know, how can we go 3 seconds in this game without being interrupted by cutscenes? They are going to be frequent, but they're not going to be this bad. This is still the beginning of the game. We're still establishing things, and we have that kid again with the friggin' purple hood. What? Okay, and the kid with the purple hood just froze time. Interesting. Begins? Well, what if it begins? What is beginning? I guess the game is beginning. Fuck you, dude. I'm not crying. Oh, man. I have so much to censor out later. This is gonna be some bullshit. Huh. Okay, well, that was kind of strange, but... Tidus, I think we're going to keep going. I know I named him Tedious, but I'm still actually going to call him Tidus because I'm used to calling him Tidus, so that's not going to change now just because I actually named him something different. We are going to keep marching forward as soon as the screen loads. And of course, as soon as we're done with this cutscene, I forgot that there was another cutscene here right away. Oh boy. Tidus, what are you looking at? Oh, it's CGI time. The game doesn't really have smooth transitions into the CGI. It kind of is just sort of random. I wouldn't call that a complaint, more so just a lack of polish. What the hell is that? Seriously, what the hell is that? Is that what I think it is? Japan, is that what I think it is? Is that a giant tentacle monster, Japan? Oh, damn it, Japan. Really, though? Okay, the giant tentacle monster is shooting its little lice off of itself. Ugh. And now we have these little monsters to deal with, in addition to these giant projectile firing tsunami that's attacking us and destroying the village. So you know what? We're going to do the only manly thing we can do. We're going to start swatting at it like a little bitch because we don't actually have a weapon, and then we're just going to sort of fall on our ass. It's not as if the enemy actually did anything to us. But at least we have a sword, so it's all fine and good. Thank you very much, Auron, for the sword because I was getting kind of tired of swatting them like a little bitch. The sword's kind of heavy, though, dude. I'm having a hard time. What?
My old man?
Wait, Jectus? Dude, what? 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 Jectus, my dad? Wait a minute. That guy they were talking about on the radio is my dad? That's awesome. Well, apparently it's not that heavy anymore because I'm not having a hard time carrying it now. Alright, so this is our first battle of the game. And, of course, I have a lot of things to explain. So let's just take care of this real quick. Okay. So you'll notice on the right, we have sort of a grid that lets you know whose turn it is at any given time, and who's going to get the next subsequent turns. So as you can see, it's going to be Tidus' turn now, and then the two monsters are going to get their turn, and then it's going to be Auron's, and then the monsters, and so on and so forth. For the time being, all we have are the attack and item options, and for Tidus, that's all we're ever going to have, considering the nature of this particular challenge that I've imposed for myself, which, once again, I'm going to explain later. For those of you who actually know this game, you already know what the challenge is just by looking at the video title. Now, we also have HP, which is sort of like our hit points. When those deplete, we die. And we have MP, which sort of works the same way, but with magic. Once we use up all our magic, well, once we use up all the MP, then we're not able to actually use any more magic. Now, the bars underneath the HP are actually not representative of the HP. Instead, those are Overdrive Bars, and we are going to get into what they are momentarily. But for the time being, let's take Auron's advice and let's just cut the ones that don't matter. Now, as you can see, Tidus didn't do nearly as much damage that time. That's because, in a way that's very inconvenient for a Let's Player, my first friggin' strike was a critical hit. So, he's usually not going to do that much damage. But he did a critical hit, and that's the reason why he actually did that much damage. Okay, so, as Auron, we just sort of destroy things because he is stronger, so he actually is going to be doing 200 damage naturally, and that's always going to be the case. Which, again, goes along with this challenge that I keep hinting at, but refuse to explain because I'd rather do it once we get to the portion of the game where it would actually make sense to explain it. So for the time being, let's just keep marching forward because I'm already almost 17 minutes into this video. This is very inefficient. I already have a previous take of this where I was already pretty much on the boss battle at this point. I'd like to keep this under 20 minutes, but no promises there. So, let's just keep going forward because, you know, we have to go fight the giant tentacle monster because, you know, Japan and there's friggin' giant tentacle monsters and we must battle them because they are evil. They are evil tentacle monsters. So let's keep going forward. And now we have our first boss battle. Now, you don't have to worry too much because this is the boss battle that can't really hit you. Excuse me, kill you, I should say, not hit you. It can hit you. As a matter of fact, it's about to hit us. Now, this attack called Demi, I could be wrong about this, but I believe it only does 25% damage of your current HP. So whatever your HP currently is, it will do 25% of that, and that'll be the amount of damage that you take.
Wait to die.
And now Auron has actually filled up his Overdrive Bar. So what this basically means is that, well, normally you will still have the option to attack and all that kind of stuff, but the time being, we're going to hit left on the D-pad. We're going to use our Bushido, because all of his Overdrives come in the form of Bushido, and for the time being, all we have is Dragon Fang. So the way these work is that this is going to be a very strong attack. So once your Overdrive Bar fills up, which happens as you take damage, you know, as you accumulate damage, you have the option to use your Overdrive, which is a very powerful move more often than not, depending on the character. And for Auron's case, it's going to be a button combination that we have to go through in order to actually successfully execute the attack. So this pretty much takes care of all of the little bastards. And now it's time for us to fight Sinspawn Ames. So I'm actually going to speed through this because this is actually a rather long battle. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that just yet. Because pretty soon Tidus is going to have his Overdrive. Probably right now. Okay, on his next turn, we're going to use his Overdrive. Now, all of his Overdrives come in the form of Swordplay. For the time being, all we have is Spiral Cut, so we're going to use that. And the way it works is that you want to time it so that you hit the X button just as that little, I don't know, moving thing hits the middle there. So, from this point on, we're just going to speed through this because there's really not a lot that I want to cover for the remainder of this battle. This already is almost a 19-minute video, so let's just speed that up real quick. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're going to move forward, and we're going to probably find our first save point. Unfortunately, we have yet to gain any kind of experience or ability points. I'm going to go over what all of those are. But that's okay, because we're not going to need them for this challenge. Wink, wink. My screensaver went off. I forgot to turn off my screensaver again. Okay, so, I'm going to show you real quick. Evidently, I'm not going to go that way, though, while I'm showing you. We're going to go this way instead. And over here, we have our first save point. Whenever you go to a save point and you save, it actually fully restores your HP, so that's why I didn't worry about saving over the course of that battle. So thank you guys for watching. In the next part of Let's Play Final Fantasy X, the No Sphere Grid Challenge, we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to hit the hell out of this friggin' city. See you guys next time!